Hi guys, I'm here to share with you the steps to make a stash kit. So this is challenge number 1 for the Kitaholic kits Cybercrop next weekend. So definitely check out the links below and join us to make your kit. Hopefully this means you'll get some of your stash used, and you'll be able to participate in the challenges and hopefully win a prize or two. Step 1, starting point. So you'll need to think about how you're going to start your kit. You will need to think about your style. So obviously if you use a lot of embellishments, no embellishment, mixed media but no pattern paper, all those things need to be thought out so that you can say, okay, well, I don't use mixed media. I blow that off, it ain't going in my kit. Or I only use plain cardstock and that's all that's going in there, no pattern paper. So have a think about them. Once you've worked out your style, you will need to think of what kind of project you're going to work on. If you are making project life only and you don't like adding chunky things, then don't include them in your embellishments. If you are making scrapbooking layouts and you like to use those things, go for it. Same with if it was a mini album and you enjoy adding all those texture things and trims and stuff, tabs hanging out the sides, then think about making sure that a lot of them, or at least enough, is in your kit. You might be making a traveler's notebook and obviously nothing chunky. You would only be doing pattern paper and stickers, stamps, probably not worrying about the immense amount of things that we could add, that I do add to my kit. So have a think about your style and your project and then find your starting item. So you might look in your stash and find something that you haven't used and that appeals to you now that you've found it again, or something that is new to you and you just want to use it because it is new and fandangle and is lovely. Once you've got that item, it might be an item like a paper pad or a sticker book or a packet of thickers even. It might be that you're going with a theme. So you might be going, okay, I'm going to scrapbook Christmas, or I'm going to scrapbook boys or baby girl. That is something that is going to influence how your kit comes together. And the other thing that you could potentially use as your starting point is a color combination. So you might say, I really love purple and I just want to use purple all weekend. Wonder who we're talking about right now. You might use purple and black and white in your kit, and that's going to be your starting point. Maybe as you're putting together you might add something else, but maybe you'll just stay with that color combo. So definitely have that step done. You might write some notes just to help you, or you might just be looking through your stash to think about that item or that starting point and go from there. So once number 1's picked, and for your information, the videos that are coming after this in this series do start with number 1 as a starting point, even though it's a small video, then 2, and goes through each step separately so that you can work on each step separately. So step number 2 is choosing your papers. So definitely think about whether you want only pattern paper or if you just want project life cards, if that's what you're working on. My thoughts around it, and I'm no expert, I'm just doing this to hopefully help and share my ideas and how I do it, is that you want between 10 and 20 papers, just because 10 is a good number to work with in terms of patterns if you are including some neutrals, some bold and some small and large print, those kind of things. And up to 20, you probably don't want more than 20 because you're just going to end up with all this leftover paper that's going to go into your scrap pile or back into your stash, and that won't feel as good as if you kill your kit. So definitely think about, if you use pattern paper for backgrounds, you don't want to use all your paper in the first 3 layouts and have to go back into your stash and build a kit again as such. But you just have to think about a balance. For me, I wanted to go towards 20 papers in my kit because I use paper for everything really. I use it for backgrounds if I feel inclined. I do lots of layering, and I do things where, you rip the paper and half the background is paper. But I also use white cardstock backgrounds as well. So I didn't include that white cardstock because it sits at the bottom of my desk anyway, so it would just take up space, and I probably wouldn't reach for it in my kit because I reach down to grab it. Now, my rule of thumb is to have a couple of patterns, not all large, not all small. Think about a few small, a few large, some bolder ones, some more, what's the word? More simple, I guess, more, less busy, I guess. So there's some busier patterns and some more that are just, they could fade and just for the color, or plain, that kind of thing. Some neutrals, so you want some black and white or some gray or even just plain white kind of patterns, just so that you can mix them together and they're not going to be 20 of all the bright colors in the world and they're not going to match, and you'll feel like you use this much rather than this much. And then I have added some cut aparts, and that way you have some if you're going to do some Project Life, or it's good for layering. And you can also cut out the icons on Project Life cut apart sheets. So some cut apart sheets are labels and phrases, journaling spots, not necessarily just Project Life, or just cutting out, say the Project Life is a 3x4 card that you could cut out and it has a camera on it. You just can cut the camera and put it on your layout. The other thing is you can include specialty paper if you are inclined. It's optional. Actually, these aren't hard and fast rules. All a matter of what's going to work for you. Now, specialty paper is like vellum, acetate, glitter paper, those kind of things. Embossed paper even might be. Just if you have it in your stash and you're likely to use it and it matches with the rest of the papers, then throw it in. You can't go wrong. Also, when you're choosing your papers, you might want to consider a 6x6 paper pad or a 6x8 paper pad. You might have even used your starting point as a 12x12 paper pad and don't want to add any other paper because 12x12 paper pad has a lot in it. If you are thinking about a 6x6 paper or 6x8 paper pad, I'd only include one because you will get a lot of choices having that paper pad. But the good thing about the smaller paper pads is the print is smaller. You might want to include Project Life cards, and if you do so, then just pull out a healthy mix. I haven't included, and I really haven't thought about how many you'd like to include. Consider your style. So if you are someone who puts 4x6 photos in the pockets and only uses Project Life cards for the 3x4 places, if you're using design A, for example, then don't include 4x6 cards because you're not going to use them unless you're cutting them up. If you're someone who backs all their photos with Project Life cards and you plan to do quite a bit, then you're going to need a few that match in terms of colors and whatnot for that layering. Just really have a think and have a look back through your most recent album, and that will help you to decide what to do with your Project Life cards. Next up, we have step 3, obviously. We all know how to count. Is picking your alphabets, your thickers. My decision was to have a packet of phrase thickers and then 2 of the normal thickers. So whether you use flat thickers or foam and chipboard thickers. So 2 packets of them. And then I would include 1 to 2 tiny alphas to round out your choices. Now, think about whether you're someone who only uses black as a title or gold. Then don't worry about the colors unless you want to challenge yourself. That's a really simple step with some hard recommendation of 1 phrase, 2 alphas, and then 1 to 2 small tiny alphas. So simple. 5 things. Next up, step number 4 is embellishments. Oh. Just hit my light and then scared the crap out of myself. I have 1 light there and 1 here. And anyway, back to the video. So number 4 is embellishments. So think about pulling out 3 or 4 things that you really must have in your kit and start with them. And if you feel like you want to add more, then go for it. I've added just about everything and anything because I like embellishments. I like building them up and having that different texture and look to each of the clusters that I'm building. And because I I put lots of paper in, so I will make a lot. We all know what embellishments are. We know what we have in our stash in terms of, okay, this is my storage for my washi. This is my storage for wood veneer. I'm just going to go straight to my wood veneer storage, pull a few out and be done with it. I'm going to go to my washi, pull a couple out and go for it. So obviously if you want more on this part of the process, check out that video because it goes into depth of what I've chosen and how I've chosen it. Step 5 is your extras, which is very, very optional because you might not be someone who uses these items. But if you want to challenge yourself or you are a lover of these items, definitely grab them out of your stash and chuck them in your kit. So I'm talking things like texture items. You might love tissue paper, some fabric, some cheesecloth, some tulle, napkins, some wax paper, those kind of things that will add texture behind your layering of your photos. If you love those things, put a few options in, or something that you haven't used for a while and you really want to use, go for it. Other items in this little step are tags. If you have a few that match, then put them in. If there's something you use, labels and things like that, they all sort of group together, I guess. Put them in. Then the other thing is ribbon and trim. If you are wanting them and you've got them in your stash and you want to challenge yourself to use them, or you know you want to use them, chuck a few in, 1 or 2, 3. Don't put, unless you're planning to put all the trim on one page or a couple of things like that, then you're not likely to use them. It's nice to add just a little bit here on this layout, do another 3 layouts, and then the next one might have a bit of ribbon on it. The other thing I thought of in this extras section is some mixed media. So don't pull out your whole mixed media array of items, but pick out maybe a stencil and an ink pad, or you might pull out some gelatos that go with those colors, some oil crayons. Embossing might be something you want to really do, and those are the things that you can just put a couple of items in and not overwhelm you with mixed media, but have that option available. And it might be something that you will love again. You might be like, well, I haven't embossed for like a year and a half and I've got it here in my stash. I'm going to put in this lovely white embossing powder and then come out of the kit at the other end of the kit and go, wow, I have to emboss all the things. Last step is step 6, and this is one of the funnest steps. They're all pretty fun. I was like putting it off a little and going, oh, I don't want to pull out my paper boxes and go through them. But when I started, I couldn't stop, and I've just spent like 4 or 5 hours going through picking and filming and editing, and now at this last step of the editing process, and I had fun the whole time and still having fun. The last step is to put all your goodies in a storage system that is fun, inviting, and accessible to you. So what works for me might not work for you. Most of the time, and if you watch my videos every month, I store my Kitaholic kits in a really useful box that I have brought from Officeworks, or you can buy them from Arnold's Scrapbooking up in Brisbane. Now, those boxes are very similar to the Iris boxes that you can get in America that have the tray underneath that fits the paper with the branding strip, and then it has an insert up the top that has all the sections that I put my embellishments in, and it even has a lid. Now, if I'm storing a kit, I make sure I can put the lid on. If I'm using a kit, I leave it open with things sticking up and jumping out at me so that I will use them. This is one option. However, you can do whatever works for you. Don't race out and feel like you have to spend money on buying this box just for this challenge. Use what you've got. So you can either use any kind of storage that you have, the baggies that we get the kits in, or you get supplies in from online shopping. They're good. A desk organizer. Some people have those ones that you get from IKEA, or you probably get them everywhere. Yeah, there's small ones that you can get from Kmart that probably can't fit the paper in, but can fit the embellishments in and look really nice. Or you can, those round dip dishes that have, that section in the middle for dip, and then sections around for like cheese and cabanossi and biscuits. Then that's really cool because you separate your embellishments. The ideal storage is something that sections off little embellishments and whatnot, because if you just have a big bowl, like think of like a salad bowl of embellishments, you're not going to find the things. You're going to get sick of rattling through it and finding something, and it's going to take you longer to find something. But if you have it in little sections, even if you had it, I just seen these, the photo boxes. Even if you had them, the wood veneer and the resin and 3D stuff in here, and then you had another one for ephemera, and then you had your alphas, your paper, and that was your kit, then that would still be really nice and still be easy enough to go, okay, I need a die cutter or a sticker. Open that box. No, I need some 3D-ness. Open that box and look through it. Rather than if it was all just scattered everywhere. And your main goal for step 6 is to make it inviting. Make it accessible. Open packets that aren't open so that you are more inclined to reach for them. You just want to make it so that if you're sitting at your desk, it can be sat there and be accessible. If you're scrapbooking on the couch, then you can have it portable, especially if you have children. If you have it on your table in your dining room, well, I guess you could have a table in the lounge room. If you have it there, then you have it somewhere where it can be packed away if it needs to be, or you can spread it out and have fun. A Rascog trolley is another good solution if you have one that's empty. That might be the challenge. Anyway, have a think about how you want to store it. Check out the video for how I store this kit. Okay, so thank you for sticking in if you stayed this long in the video, and hopefully the 6 steps are helping you to build your stash kit. Remember that this is the first challenge for the Cybercrop this weekend over at the Kitaholics community group Facebook page. A link is down below. Well, join the page if you haven't. Check out the posts that are going to be coming up. This is the first one. Put your kit underneath as a comment to that post, and share with us your kit and any comments or any funny anecdotes as you're putting it together, or if you've filmed a video, share it with us. We'd all like to see. I think if we all get on the bandwagon and we all inspire each other, it'll be really helpful to do so. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, as I usually say in most videos, and I'm going to go. Thanks for sticking with me, and hopefully you're having fun